Yes. Hello and welcome to another Guardians of Wiltshire video. I'm your host Dewi, and this is another Not All Those Who Wander Our Lost community interviews. This week I have Scott Whitefoot, who
Hello.
I have known
Thanks for having me.
for many years.
I think it's probably 2017 when I first met you, or something like that.
Something like that. But we've gradually become I would say pretty good friends. Being in Team Wales and going to a lot of similar tournaments because we're in a kind of semi-similar location, being the slight southwest.
Yeah, Midlandsy.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've known you for quite a while, so it's going to be quite funny asking you these questions. So the first one, like everyone, is how did you get into the hobby?
So to get into the hobby, I mean, a lot of people sort of start off with 40k and things like that. That's actually not the case for me. I mean, Jack and I, we first got models when I think our dad bought like this job lot off of eBay of just like Lord of the Rings stuff because we were both really into the films when they came out. We were about 7 or 8 or something.
Okay.
And he just got these pre-painted models. I think there was some of Rohan and Urukai, a couple of Warg Riders, something like that. And yeah, we would just sort of play together, and we didn't really. We took a big break out after that because we just liked playing with each other. We didn't really realize that there was a big sort of SVG tournament scene for like the GBHL or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the Hobbit sort of.
Did your dad know anything about SBG, or did he just see the models and go, "Oh, they look cool"?
No, yeah. So it was. I think Jack was the one who found out that the Lord of the Rings was turned into a war game.
Okay.
Because our dad liked sort of like those stereotypical like army men and like those plastic things with the tanks and things.
Okay. Yeah.
So Jack wanted to find something like that, but for Lord of the Rings. So our dad went on a bit of a mission and found those on eBay. So
that's good then. So you say that was when you were 7 or 8?
Yeah. We took a big break after that, and well, we obviously like played with each other in the game, but we didn't even really know the rules properly until we got to sort of school league.
Yeah.
We had like this little club at school, and we would actually eventually went to Nottingham for the nationals for SBG. You know, when you had the blue book, the blue rule book.
Okay, the One Ring one.
Yeah, the sort of classic.
Yeah.
And we went to the regionals, and there was actually no one else who turned up to play. So we automatically won, and we got to the nationals. Then we just got curb stomped because we didn't know the rules properly, and we hadn't realised we didn't know the rules properly because we didn't play against anyone.
Okay.
So Jack sort of told us, oh, to win a fight, you know, if you've got model v model, it's your dice roll, your highest dice roll, plus your fight value.
Okay.
It's like I think 3 of us took high L's with Gilgalad.
Because
it was just the easiest way to just. It's like fight 9 plus the d6. Oh, like I win every single fight.
Yeah, that means so like goblins and everything couldn't beat him at all.
Oh, they were just complete trash in our little group. no one used them. And then we all just got absolutely wrecked. Yeah, that was good fun. And then we took another break after that because obviously things like high school kick in, and we actually when the Hobbit films came out, and I was really into my high elves, and I saw the first film. I thought I really like the fact that they finally got cavalry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really hope that they've made the Hobbit into models.
Yeah.
Obviously, they made the models before the films actually came out, but because we weren't in the scene, didn't realize for quite a while. That's when we really started to get back into it, and that's when I went to the tournament where I met you. I think the first time because I started watching the YouTube videos.
Okay. What was the very first tournament you went to then that we met?
It was one of Mel's ones.
Okay,
in Cheltenham.
Was it like
Income.
the
Yeah.
final fate of the Witch King or something
It was
like that?
It was something like that. It was.
That was one of the
I remember
first
playing
ones.
against Luke.
Okay.
And I had my high elves, but I.
Oh no, that's not. I was thinking. I thought you might have taken your Gondor because I remember seeing your Gondor at a Cheltenham event.
Oh, that's the later one.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure we knew each other at that point.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was I just got into it. I just had my box of Rivendell Knights, but I hadn't got Glorfindel on horse. So he was on foot with like 10 spear elves and just a warband of cavalry, and Luke had his all mounted knights with the twins and a captain or something, and just absolutely wrecked me.
So that was kind of, we say 3 or 4 years ago.
It was about that, yeah.
Yeah. So since then, you've gained a bit of notoriety in the community for painting. I know that much. So would you say that's your favourite aspect of the hobby?
It's definitely, well, it's weird to say it. It's a bit of a love-hate. Because I obviously really enjoy doing it. And I think that definitely helps most of the time. But I think it's almost I put a lot of pressure on myself, a lot of it.
Yes.
So I really want to, like, whatever model I do, obviously, because it's quite an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
I want to try and make sure that I don't look at the model in like a year's time and go, I don't like it anymore. I kind of fancy repainting it. Still do that. I think I've bought, painted, and sold high elves about 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
Because it's my favorite army aesthetically and just lore and everything else.
Yeah.
And to play. I just didn't quite get the color schemes right every time.
Okay.
And because of that, I'm always like, oh, it's something that I think I could do better with. But I can't keep that up, so eventually I'm gonna have to just stick with it. But yeah, painting is definitely one of my favorites. But there's also just all the like going through all the foot slogs. I know you've done a lot of your Harad, for example.
Yeah.
Plug your painting tutorial video in there. Like that's like doing troops and things. It's a bit of a. I enjoy it when it's finished.
Yeah, no,
when the whole project is finished.
I completely agree. Yeah, the Harad were actually they're literally right next to me. They were really actually quite fun and nice to paint, and not what I was expecting.
They're lovely models.
I think I've said this on another interview, but I actually really enjoy them, and I enjoy painting my Corsairs. I've got 24 of them done. But I've got 6 Arbalesters sat in front of me, and they've been sat there for like a week and a half, and they've got 3 colours on, and it's like, I really need to get them done. Really, really need to get them done. So that's hopefully what.
Well, I was going to say, is that for a tournament? Or...
No. So I've set myself a goal for June for miniatures painting because there's no tournaments, and I'm not really painting for tournaments at the moment. I'm painting for Gondor at War scenarios. So in June it's 6 Arbalesters, 6 Reavers, Delgamar, Dalamir, 12 Moranons, and kind of 15 Gondor horses and bases. For Knights of Minas Tirith, I've got 12 of them, and I'm going to do Faramir on horse at the same time, and 2 banners. So
that's an army I thought about at one point.
So
it's just doing Faramir's charge.
Yeah, I know Dave Clubley's run it before, and I know Dan Entwistle's run it before. We spoke about it in the very first interview, which was quite funny.
Cool.
He took it to 7 stones with no shields, no lance or shield for Faramir, because that's what's in the films.
That's cool. Really appreciate like lists like that.
So switching from your favourite, what's your least favourite aspect of the hobby? Is it your buying and repainting?
It's probably it's. I think it's when you start with like the project. It's you've got all of the sort of preparation you've got to do. Enjoy that to an extent.
Do you mean like the building of models and green stuff in gaps and that kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I think conversions are my arch nemesis. because I always want models to be different, and I always look at really talented individuals in the community like Matthew Davies and some others like that are just incredible, like with the green stuff. And with your like conversions as well, all I can do is sort of arm swaps or like a hand tilt or something similar.
But sometimes that really works.
Yeah, I sometimes not when I do it.
I know you've done more conversion work on your Harad than you have ever done before that I've known
of. Yeah. This army's definitely been the one where I've tried to do everything, because it's a bit of a weird one, because I want to do the army for Ardacom.
Yeah.
And Ardacom being in Team Wales, trying to represent and trying to do well.
Let's just point out you've won the last 2 best army. Is it, or is it best painted?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a weird one with Ardacom. They call it best in show.
Okay.
It's basically just you can enter whatever you want, but normally it's a whole army.
Yeah,
that's probably your best chance of winning.
Because you've won it with Lothlorien and Goblins, Moria.
Yeah. The first one I feel like was a bit of a fluke, if I'm completely honest.
I don't know. Your Lothlorien is ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, like, obviously, someone's gonna say it, so I'm gonna say it. Is the color scheme is obviously inspired by Andy?
Yeah, Andy Hamblin,
by the time
we spoke to last week.
Yeah. I mean, most of the credit needs to go to him. He helped me while I was painting it.
Okay. I didn't realize you had that much contact at the time.
Yeah. So I saw the army at, I think it was a Throne of Skulls. He was playing on the table next to me, and I saw it, and I just went, "That looks incredible." That's just how I would have imagined seeing Lothlorien, like in the books and things like that, with all the autumn scheme. Yeah. So straight away, my mind just went. I could see like a bridge with trees and a river and all these models, and that's exactly why I decided. Like that's what I did for the board, the display board.
Have you got photos of that anywhere?
I do. Yeah, I could probably send them to you. They're a bit sort of hard to get to because they're on my computer. But
are they on your Instagram?
I think they are actually. Yeah. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure they're on my Instagram.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a chat after this, and if they are, I'll get a link to your Instagram and put it in the description below. So I know you spend a lot of time with painting, etc. But how do you find the balance between making models or terrain? I don't know if you make that much terrain, painting and playing, and kind of what's your perfect kind of balance?
Oh God, I'm not sure if there is a balance for me. It's a bit making, like, most of it is buying models and they just sit in a box.
That's what that is right there.
I mean these. I can't. These ones here.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 armies of just metal models and sprues, and then this shelf here, just all unboxed stuff.
Yeah. I unbox everything. I just like to get my hands on it. It's really, really bad.
But finding a balance. So going back to your question, I do mostly painting. I really enjoy like the social side of going to tournaments, and not so much with playing necessarily. Playing is fun. I just play for fun, really. I don't really do it as competitively as I'd like. Because I know that there are much better players than I at tournaments. So I try and do my best in the painting.
Yeah.
And I think when I go to tournaments, I'm not as sort of. I try and do my best out of respect for who I'm playing against, because obviously they've come to play a tournament and to do well and not just curb stomp me.
Yeah, you don't want to give
Callum
you don't you know Callum really well though. That's the funny thing. But you don't want to be a pushover or let someone just take a 12-0, for example, or whatever. So
Yeah, because when that happens, it's not fun for anyone. And everyone obviously puts time and effort into their armies, and then with writing lists um, and then sort of getting the models, and they're obviously expensive. And if you just go, okay, I'm going to put all my models on the table, and now they're all gone again after like half an hour,
yeah,
and the guy's just like, well, that was really easy. I'm going to go get a beer.
yeah. I do get what you mean. It can be, you want to give your opponent respect and not just smash them into the ground if you can, or at least
or not be smashed.
yeah,
Because it's more fun when it's close game, because you can always snatch a victory, or your opponent can obviously do something that's a 1 in a million chance, and those are the games that you actually remember and that you enjoy, I think.
yeah. I definitely
It's
agree.
for me.
Definitely agree. So looking at all your empty stuff, or at least unbuilt stuff behind you, how big is your collection? Do you know?
Do you mean in terms of how many models?
Miniatures, yeah.
Or I don't know if I can give an exact number, but it's nowhere near yours. I know that. It's probably just, I feel like it's almost 1,000.
Okay.
I don't think it's more because, well, I'm just not sure if I'm completely honest.
About let's say about 1,000.
Yeah, let's say that.
And which armies do you use the most? Because I know you've got quite a few different ones painted, and you go through. I know, especially over the last couple of years, you've gone through using Lothlorien a lot to then using Moria a lot because you want to get better with them for Ardacon, for the painting, and for the general, for the team as well.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a weird one. I try not to have I try not to be like a one-trick pony with the armies that I bring to tournaments, because I want to try and practice with it, and most of the opportunity that I get to do that is at tournaments.
Yeah.
But I also use tournaments as a way to get painting done in time for like a future goal. So with both of those examples, like my Lothlorien and the Goblins, I started painting them at the beginning of the year in preparation for the tournament, which meant that get practice and the painting done.
Yeah.
Do it in stages.
Yeah.
So I remember for the Goblins, I went to a tournament which was 400 points, then 450, 500. It was like 700, and then Articon was 750.
Yeah.
I got to go to like 5 tournaments with it, and gradually paint more and more. So I've got the finished army at the end.
Yeah. Because
I think
you went to Into the West and Mark's event in Bicester. They were the two that I remember seeing them at.
Yeah, I think I went to. Oh, I think I also used them at Ed's Battle of the Number Tiers.
Okay.
That was like a 2-army thing, so I took those and my Eagles.
Yeah.
I think weirdly, I've used the last like few tournaments. I think I've used my Eagles quite a lot. It's mainly been my Lothlorien and Goblins over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just kind of GT. I took White Council and Nazgul.
Yes,
because
I see those.
The least amount of models. I just went, okay, well, it's a 700 good v evil. What opposing army is going to have? It's minimal models, and this is most of the points, so I can get it done in time.
Yeah,
and that's the one I can think of.
I was going to say, I've seen you use Eagles more recently, and occasionally you dip into your Angmar.
Yeah, Angmar's a bit of a weird one. I think I like using Angmar when I feel more competitive.
Yeah.
If I want to go to Reading and sort of try and do decently, I'll take Angmar because it's one of my only horde armies.
Okay.
I tend to go quite elitist, apart from the Moria. But even then, I use monsters and stuff as well. So
yeah, because you had Cave Drake and Cave Troll and
Yeah,
Bat
like
swarms.
marauders and bats
Yeah.
and like it's weird because I enjoyed using that because it felt more like a balance
Okay.
because it felt like I had enough guys, but also I had some heavy hitters and like a bit of fast movement. It felt like a more well-rounded army. Whereas I really noticed with my elves having like at the time I was using them anyway, like no cavalry,
Okay.
all on foot. Not many models, not very many heavy hitters because you've got Galadriel. It
Because
was a very
in
finesse
your,
army.
I was gonna say, in your Lothlorien you had Galadriel, Stormcaller, and Haldir or Rumil. I can't remember.
Yeah, and I
Which.
think I had Haldir and Rumil.
Okay.
Um, I think I flip flopped between Lady of Light and the Lothlorien one
Oh
as
yeah.
theme.
Yeah.
And theme, but then I was like, oh well, Ardacon. I was like, I think when I used them at Ardacon, I think there was out of 5 games, I think 4 of them had ring rate.
Oh
At
wow.
least 1 ring rate.
That was old edition, correct? Old edition.
I believe so.
It was like
I can't remember. It was.
Yeah, it must have been a
2 years ago.
couple of weeks before the new edition. I think.
Yes, yeah, I think so because I think they announced the new edition at Ardcon.
Yeah, because there was the whole, is it going to come out at Ardacon or not? And it didn't. It came out at the start of September. So, in your collection, what's your favourite miniature that you own or have painted, or the rules, that kind of thing?
I think my favorite model that I've painted is probably Radagast on foot.
The one where he's holding Sebastian.
No, the other one.
The Escape from
The
Goblin
Finecast one.
Yeah, that's the. Is he holding Sebastian in that one, or is it at his feet?
I think it's by his foot. It's by his feet.
That's the one I was thinking of. I just have got the wrong.
Okay.
Confused. So yeah, I've seen that one because you've put it on a plinth as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it's somewhere. I think it's like right there.
I was gonna say I think there's that one right on the end.
Yeah. Because I think it's my favorite one because I think it was for Into the West because Matt was doing the all the little mini prizes.
Yeah.
And I think one of them was a single mini, and I sort of I think it was the 2 nights before. Just went, you know what? I'm going to repaint a Radagast because the one that I had before wasn't as good as I wanted it, and I just got this one because of the re-release for the made to order thing.
Yes.
Oh no, it wasn't made to order. Sorry, they just brought it back.
They repackaged with him on Eagle, that one that was out of production, and the Sleigh because I picked
and on Sleigh. Yeah,
I picked up the exact same set.
Yeah. I was so happy when they brought that back. You just couldn't find a sleigh that was below £100.
No, not at all. I spent a good 6 months looking for one, not even needing it, just looking for one and couldn't find one anywhere.
Yeah, it was a bit breaking. So, I think that was my favorite one that I've painted. I think sculpting wise, it's just there's so many. I like all the. I like all of the random minis that you get, sort of like Gimli sitting on Uruk, or like Sam and Frodo in Orc armor.
Like
all of the ones that you.
Yeah. I know, kind of
that you just
the more scenic and diorama based ones.
Yeah. It feels like they've looked at the films and they've gone, okay, let's make a model out of that instead of going a bit of the other way around where they go, well, we want Aragorn, so we're going to give him sword and whatever, but it's more generic.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Like the new plastic one, for example, you know straight away that that's when he's charging off the boat, and you know that that's taken straight from the film. So models like that, I think, I really, really like.
I was going to say it's the ones like the Helm's Deep Aragorn as well, where you go, they've paused the film and they've gone, right, I want that in a mini.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, all like I don't think I could pick favorites. Like all of the ones like that.
Yes, they are. Just love them. They are really cool. So, what do you feel is your most underrated model in your collection?
So
that could be rules or sculpt or anything like that.
Actually, I do have a good one for this. For my most underrated sculpt, I think it would be a Theoden model. It's a horse. Like I think it's the one from Helm's Deep, but without helmet. I think it was made into a fine cast one where he's got his arm raised up.
Oh, the quite static looking one.
Yeah. It's like I don't know what it is. I just think that the face looks spot on.
Does look pretty cool. I do know the one you're on about.
I think that one. I think seeing one of those painted really well. I think looks. Mine's in the box still. I haven't got it out yet. Yeah, I think, but I don't know. I don't really know in terms of rules. Maybe Samwise Gamgee is underrated. He should be in every competitive list.
He is a cool little trooper, and he is obviously the hero of everything.
He's the main character.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, I rewatched the films the other day for the first time with cast commentary on it, and that was that was really interesting. Actually, really, really interesting. I find out loads of little different bits and pieces.
I didn't know that was a thing. How do you do that? I want to watch this now.
So on the movie discs, if you just go special features, there's 4 lots of commentary actually. So there's the directors, there's the design team, and then there's the production team, and then there's the cast commentary.
I haven't seen the cast commentary, but I think I've seen all the other ones.
Yeah, there's cast commentary, which is quite funny. Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan are just hilarious as it is. So, with your collection, are there any specific models that you want to come back for a made-to-order or back for good? Any that you don't have that you really, really want?
I think, weirdly, I've always managed to find models that, if I really wanted it, I would be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
Especially with the new waves of the made-to-order at the moment.
Yeah.
As in, when I say that, I mean ones that came out a little while ago, like when Serpent Guard and Serpent Riders came out again.
Oh, like when they come back to
those were ones that I was. Yeah. And with the Radagast, that was one that I was really hoping for. I don't at the moment. I don't have any armies that I want to get that have out of production models.
Okay.
I did want Círdan for a while, for example, and he came out, and I managed to pick him up.
He was on the very first made-to-order, wasn't he?
Yeah. Actually, I think if those orcs, metal orcs, if they came back, I'd probably get them again.
Did you get them before?
I didn't get them before.
Okay.
I regret it a little bit. At the time, I just thought, why do I need more generic orcs? I don't think I want to do more orc armies. And I just, I think I regret that a little bit.
Okay. I was going to say they weren't something that interested me at all when they came back. Like yourself, I've got enough generic orcs that
everything under the sun.
Not quite. So if we move on to the gaming side of things, we've spoken a lot about SPG, but do you play any other systems?
I used to play some 40k, but I first and foremost was SPG. And I think because all of the gaming that I would do was with Jack.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, Jack's my brother. So he was really into. He started to get into the 40k, and he's got about 10 different systems at this point. He plays, but they've never really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I always just felt like everyone was there to curb stomp the other person and to just wipe out all their army, like turn 1 or turn 2. Couldn't really get behind the the lore is really extensive, and I think it's quite cool, and I enjoy watching little videos on YouTube or something where they've done animations of Space Marines. That's really cool.
Oh, okay.
I think the actual game is a little bit too geared towards winning at all costs. And I think there's a lot of like unbalance in it.
I was going to say,
whereas SPG,
having spoken to people, it seems like, and I've said this before, that the latest codex is generally one of the best. But that could all change because obviously they're bringing out ninth edition, which was announced early June, I think.
Okay, because the last time I played was at least 4 years ago now.
Okay. I just know
it has been a while, so it might change.
It's been all over Warhammer community that they bring out 9th edition. I think sometime later this year, possibly. I don't.
Okay, I saw something about new Necrons coming out or something.
Yeah, there's a whole new edition. So like I say, I'll have a brief read of Warhammer community stuff, but I won't get involved in it.
Yeah. I did pick up some Age of Sigmar models as well when the new starter box came out with the Nighthawk models.
Okay.
I just thought that the Nighthawks looked pretty cool. I think I've since sold them again because I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
And Jack's also got me into Star Wars Legion.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of clones. That's kind of it. They're still in the box.
Okay.
That's one of my tasks in the next few weeks, I think.
I was going to say, because I know your brother's, I know your brother's been painting up drones and stuff. Drones and stuff, yeah. So
he's quite excited.
Yeah, he seemed very keen on it when I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. So we've covered this a little bit, but you play predominantly for the fun of it rather than competitively.
Yeah, it's as long as if I can turn it to a tournament with an army that I'll enjoy using, it doesn't matter to me whether or not I'll do well.
Yeah.
And as long as it has that sort of narrative sort of aspect to it. For example, for the GT that's just gone. Game 1 I played against Damien.
Okay. Yeah.
And we looked at each other's armies and went, okay, well, this is an objective-based scenario, so either way I'm a bit stuffed. But he had I had my white cancel to my 4 models against his Isengard. I forget the name of the Legion, but the Helm's Deep one.
The Assault upon Helm's Deep.
With the 2 ballistas and a bomb.
Yeah.
And just crossbows and berserkers and whatever, and I'm just there like, oh, it'll be a fun game regardless. He was nice enough to offer to switch, but as in my Nazgul versus his sort of deep charge list.
I was going to say it was Rohan, wasn't it? With Aragorn and Legolas, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's spot on. And I was like, no, it's fair as fair. We'll see how this one goes. It was nice enough to not blow up the bomb until the last turn.
I was going to say that could have decimated you like turn 1.
To be fair, he did shoot me with the ballista every opportunity he got, and did get some hits through the binding light. So
yeah, good effort. So I know you play for fun more than anything, but I have noticed you're a bit like Andy, who we spoke to last week. You've got better and better as the years have gone on. I've noticed that most definitely.
Thank you. It's good to hear. I'm glad someone thinks so.
It definitely has. We've not played masses. I don't think.
I think we've only played 1 game, and that was when the new edition just came out.
That was at Reading, wasn't it?
I was using my Angmar for the first time. Yeah. So an incident with the shade happened.
Yeah, but not the incident people will think. Because it was new edition, you forgot to flick it on at the start of combat, didn't you?
Glorfindel sorted that shade in 1 turn.
Yeah, Glorfindel. I just had to make sure the shade was gone. It was Storm the Camp though, which was a little bit
tricky. Against Círdan with Arrow and all that.
Yeah, Círdan with Glorfindel. Storm the Camp's definitely not one of my favourite
scenarios. It's weird because I when I think about it, I have managed to I mean, for example, in one of the most recent tournaments, I played against Callum Edens. It's the first time I've managed to beat him.
Okay.
Out of like the dozens of times we've played. To be fair, the matchup and the scenario really favoured me. And it was a doubles actually, so it favoured us a lot. I think I also managed. I remember. I think it was the GT, not this year, the year prior. I managed to like go on a small win streak, and I ended up playing against like world champion in like game, like one from last game or something.
Okay.
And I almost beat him. It's the first time we played. It came right down to the wire with a couple of courage tests that I failed last turn.
Oh no.
It's one of those weird ones where I think I think I've gotten better at list building as well.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? You don't sound very sure.
No, I know. Me and you have spoken a lot about list building, especially for Ardacon being in the same team and etc. Yeah. We've spoken a lot with regards to your Moria and your Harad, especially, or just any general lists. You quite often ping me across a few, and I definitely think they've got more competitive as time's gone on.
Yeah. I think it's because before, a lot of armies that I would try to bring would struggle to have competitive edge if you just use the models that you like looking at.
Yeah.
So, and like in previous edition when I had my Lothlorien, it was before they had the Defense 6.
Yes.
Sorry, not Defense 6. I mean, before they had Defense 5. And because I wanted to use Haldor's Elves with just the models, I didn't want to put shields on them.
Yeah.
And if everything is WYSIWYG, all of a sudden my Elves are Defense 4, may as well be playing Goblins or Harad.
Yeah.
It's just one of those where I just struggle. Now that I've gotten a bit more confident with some of my conversion stuff, like with the army I'm working on now with the Harad, I feel like it's easier for me to feel comfortable with models that I enjoy using and looking at because I can make them that way. So giving a spear and a bow to someone, it looks like it was almost meant to be a model in the first place.
Rather than just sticking a spear on the back. Yeah, I know what you
mean. Yeah. Or like just putting a bow or a shield on the floor on the base or something and just going, oh yeah, he's got all of these weapons.
It's a little...
I think it plays into it a little bit because, the priority is using models I enjoy using. Secondary is trying not to get curb stomped at a tournament because it is expensive to go there.
Yeah,
you're paying money and you don't like no one actually enjoys losing, but if you have a good game, it doesn't matter anyway.
No, I definitely agree. So, would you choose an army based on the miniatures or the rules?
Miniatures.
Definitely. so for example, your Moria, was that more because you could have a Cave Drake or a Watcher or a Balrog, or I presume rather than just the goblins themselves?
It was a bit of both because the Moria, I had the idea for the theme of the army before I started to really think about lists or anything.
So let's just go over the theme for a minute because all of yours are on clear resin bases.
Yeah, so
it's like a jungle type theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really weird one. I think at one point Jay wanted me to do an article on it.
Okay.
Because of the bases, I think the higher ups said we can't do it because we don't sell them.
Okay.
It was it was really odd. It was one of those things where I was like, I really want to do like water or ice or something similar. It was just totally out there, and it was different. And I thought, what armies is there where I could put that on? I was like, well, after watching some of the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes and things, and they were talking about goblins, said how some of the designs were based on like anglefish and things like that, like with their
right.
helmets.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, they obviously like going near water and all that sort of stuff. I thought, well, what does the cave drake look? And I started looking at the monsters, and I went, well, the cave drake looks a bit like a dinosaur.
Yeah, like a serpent
and
kind of lizard. Yeah,
it's like really reptilian. I was like, well, what's another thing where I could use like lots of color and water, and like, well, the jungle is kind of where I got to that. And I was like, well, it works for a watcher because it can go in the water and all that sort of stuff. And just went, well, if I took the army, because it also has loads of goblins, and if I try and paint every single goblin as well as I possibly can, and when it's all finished and it's on the table, like I think Moria is one of those armies that suffers from the wow factor.
yeah.
When you see it on the table and someone's just stuck them on like some grey rock bases because it's like the films,
Yeah,
which is totally fine. It doesn't quite sort of have the same effect as if you look at a fiefdom's army next to each other. It kind of just sort of it looks a bit underwhelming.
I think a lot of evil. I think a lot of evil armies suffer from that. I've definitely noticed that.
I think it's because they have to look grungy and grimy, otherwise it doesn't look good enough.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a goblin with gleaming armor, would you?
I did think about doing that for a captain, like some sort of like elf armor, or doing like a conversion like that, and just like look at me, I've got a golden armor, like goblin crown sort of thing. Yeah, it was one of those where it had such diversity of models that I could take a bit of everything and it would give you that wow factor. So you've got so much diversity. Whereas if you look at like an army of Goblin Town, you've got like 2 models, or like Numenor.
Yeah,
it looks very sort of, I don't know, it's like samey.
Yeah, it's very uniform, isn't it? It's very. There's not much, like I said, there's not much diversity, etc.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as dynamic. But if you suddenly have like, all these water effects and you try and like lots of like you've got elite goblins, you've got normal goblins, you've got monsters, you've got all the heroes, you've got cavalry, kind of.
Yeah.
And it just sort of had a bit of everything, and I thought that's quite a good army to have. And elves as well. That was all because of the Howlers metal elves. I dislike the plastics, the Galadrim.
Yeah.
I think they just look a bit too chunky.
They're okay. I've got 36 painted, if I'm correct. That I painted way back when I started going to tournaments, and it's one of the first hobby vlogs on this channel, I think, or at least in the.
I think I remember seeing them
in the first chunk, and I do get what you mean, but I'm very much the Howlers elves are cool. They're expensive, and you can't put shields.
They were
on
very
them.
expensive.
Can't put shields or spears on them.
You're more of a rules guy.
A little bit. Saying that, my favourite armies are Fiefdoms and Mahud because they look cool.
Yeah. I think you were one of the reasons why I got my Mahud army.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just saw the camels and I went, that's really cool. But I think at the time they were out of production, so I couldn't get them when you had them. And then I think they just came back on the range as like, your £8.20 a model.
Yeah, I've got like 13 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got the king, and then off of eBay.
Yeah,
and then I got all of the riders. It was an expensive order.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, it was like I think I got 13. As like on top of the king.
What have I got there? 4. I lie. I've got 15. 15 being 2 tribes masters, a king, and a betrayer that I've mounted on a camel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which still isn't finished.
Really?
Yeah. The camel's done. It's literally just the ring wraith on top, which I don't know why I've not finished it because it's literally black.
You got didn't you get best army at one of Mel's events using your Mahud though?
I've got
Is it
two.
not finished?
I've got two.
Got two.
One of them I won best army with, and they didn't have any war paint on them. And then since then, I've put war paint on them, and they've won another one or two here or there.
It makes a difference when you're doing some random freehand.
Yeah.
So something that I really struggle with is freehand. So tricky. Like, I don't know how people paint in non-metallic metal. Just can't.
I don't
get the grip of it
either. I don't understand it either. So continuing with gaming, what's your favourite points level to play, and why?
I think I have two favourites for two different reasons. I think like 450. Because it's one of those where you've got a small enough army where you really have to pick and choose what you take.
Yep.
It feels easier for my small brain to to sort of like navigate the models.
Yeah.
It feels more like a skirmish because you've obviously got less models. I also really enjoy the ridiculous ones like Donor Skulls where you've got 1,000 points. Because like those ones because you can take whatever you want, which is great because you don't have to decide. And you also don't have to be as precise as normal.
You can afford losing a guy or two here or there, and still.
Yeah, the snowball effect doesn't feel as steep.
Yeah.
If you lose a guy, it suddenly becomes 2 and then 4, and then it just completely snowballs because you're getting trapped all the time. With 1,000 points, if you mismeasure or something, and a cavalry charges into 200 guys and they die, it's kind of a bit. It doesn't really matter because I still got 50 other models.
Yeah.
So, it feels, and it's kind of cool because you've got that grand element. It feels like the War of the Ring used to feel.
Yeah, I do hope they kind of revisit War of the Ring. I know it's not going to be that accessible for everyone, but I've started mounting my armies on movement trays just because I think it looks cool. It looks cool when they're all set up. So,
I remember just flicking through the War of the Ring rulebook and I think it was Battle Hosts, like the sourcebook supplement.
Yeah. They've got so many cool ideas. So many cool ideas.
Yeah. Just seeing all the armies like with the alternative color schemes as well. I think that's the first time I was like, "Oh, I can paint Lord of the Rings however I want."
Yeah, I know. I've definitely
get all those conversions.
I've definitely stolen ideas from that before, or at least have ideas in the future. So, like, there's Denethor's Guard, I think, is one. Something along those lines.
So like Tower of Icthalion, where it's all white and gold.
Yeah, they've got the white and gold banner with like a gold tree and a bit of gold plating on the shoulders, that kind of thing. Obviously the Westwood Red Shields is a good example as well.
Yeah. That was like the inspiration I took actually. Well, half of the inspiration for my Gondor army that I did. It was sort of like it was purple and gold and sort of bone color, like ivory.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I saw the banner in there with the gold, and I was like, I want to try that. I didn't. I wanted to give it the extra, I don't know, something different. Unfortunately, I've actually sold that whole army except for Boromir.
Did you get rid of it all in the end?
I did the classics now. I just sold the whole lot.
Jeez. So when playing,
I'm a bit sad about that actually. Sorry, go on.
No, that's all right. Do you prefer playing good or evil, good versus evil, or do you not mind blue on blue?
Oh, good versus evil. It's definitely preferred. It's just more fun. It's how the game was designed to play. It always feels like something in my stomach feels wrong when I'm charging Boromir into Aragorn. It just feels like. It's like, why are they fighting? Stop it. This isn't right. I can understand evil v evil. Like, I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
I think just for tournament play, v evil is good, but I think it also lends itself to spamming of certain armies because of the good v evil. Like, some armies just inherently do better against evil, or in a good for evil matchup, certain models and certain armies just tend to do better in those tournaments.
Yeah.
You get like an over-representation of them, and suddenly every time you're using every time I'm using my goblins, I play Army of the Dead Legion, and it feels like I'm just designed to lose because of the rock paper scissors every time.
You're running uphill constantly.
Yeah, but I still prefer it because it's more themed and fluffy and all that good stuff.
You can just imagine this one goblin taking down Aragorn and just being like, "Yeah, who's the boss now?"
It's like your crown.
Have you seen any upcoming events that you want to attend? I know we're still in lockdown, so we're a bit of context. We're recording this on the 5th of June. We're still in lockdown. Are there any events later in the year that you are looking forward to, or you want to attend? At least?
Well, there's your one.
Thank you.
There's your event if you want to plug that. When is it? Or potentially, or
it has been moved to October 10th and 11th. Unfortunately, it clashes with Harry Parkhill's event up in Lincoln, but that was the.
Is that the Imp one?
Yeah, that's Lord of the Imps, I think, or at least that's what one previous.
That definitely rings a bell.
So yeah, unfortunately, I had to clash with that one. There was literally no other space in the calendar. So that's in October, which I know you're booked up for.
I enjoy all of the big events. So ones that you can stay, like Cardiff or Ardacon or the GT or Throne of Skulls. Like those are probably my top 4.
Yeah.
I've never been to an ETC, but I'm sure they're good fun as well.
It was definitely interesting.
Obviously, a bit more on the competitive side.
It was definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's just any event where you sort of especially at Warhammer World or Ardacon, it feels more like an event all around, not just a tournament.
Yeah.
So you obviously get a chance to go to a shop, or you get to see the exhibition if you're at Warhammer World or Bugman's, all that sort of stuff. It feels kind of nostalgic as well, because the first time I've been to Warhammer World was in the school league for the nationals.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first time I was there was obviously when I was back in school, and going there every time as an adult with all of my friends and just competing in this huge tournament just feels really cool.
I think it's also because you have people there who are there purely because of the tournament, but are not there to win. So you have people there just having a right old giggle, and you can hear people chuckling across the hall, that kind of thing, which is always good, always amazing to see.
Yeah. So yeah, probably those ones.
So moving on a bit more about community, is there a player or an army that you struggle to play against?
Probably a lot. It's probably a long list. I'd say Callum is definitely one of the hardest players I've played against.
You practiced with him a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was at uni, I was in Oxford, so it was only a sort of 20 minutes on the train to go see him.
Yeah.
He was helping me sort of try and get a bit better by just smashing me into the ground every time I went to his house. Just completely merciless, but he'll let me know what I should have done or what he would have done instead, sort of thing, and it really does help. Who else? Oh, Luke. Played against Luke, I think 3 times at tournaments now.
Yeah,
I've never beaten him.
Oh, really?
It's always never been close either. It's like I'm starting to win, and then he just wins out of nowhere, and I just don't know what happened. There's been scenarios that favour me almost every time as well. I'm just rubbish against them.
When all this is over, you'll have to come down and try and beat him again.
I definitely need a rematch.
We can definitely arrange something.
What else? Armies. I always struggle to play against Army of the Dead.
With
It usually means
with any list or like.
I think I've only ever played against them with lists that are like goblins or Angmar or something like horrific.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever played against them with an army that's more of a fighting chance. I think things with a lot of magic, like Mordor, some generic Mordor lists I really struggle with.
Okay.
Because they'll have like Kardouche and a bunch of orcs. I can't like hurt because they're all defense 6. They've got all the numbers, they've got the magic, and they've got like a monster. Like it feels hard to deal with everything in one go.
Yeah.
It always seems to be in Fog of War or something.
Oh,
they always have like 5 different low tier heroes, like an extra 15 models at least, and just it always feels like a weirdly hard one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, have you got a favorite game you've ever played at a tournament, or like a single moment where something's just gone completely bizarre?
I think. Oh well, there's been a couple of instances where it's just been. I've had a lot of fun moments. I wouldn't be able to pinpoint all of them, but I definitely remember having a matchup. I think it was at Cardiff where I took my Eagles. It was Lords of Battle, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this will actually help, and I'll do really well." I think you came over at the end of the game as well, but it was a matchup where it was against Eagles.
Oh, you were playing
Eagles versus Eagles in Lords of Battle.
You were playing John Barnes, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because you had Radagast, Guahir, and an Eagle, but he had Guahir and 3 Eagles?
3 Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, because I took Eagles as well to that event.
Yeah, I was like, oh, for God's sake, like, what are the chances of playing the only other Eagle player? It was definitely a fun moment just before we even started playing. One of my favourite games was when I got back into the tournaments and I went to the first Throne of Skulls I've been to. And it was against Kieran Street in game 1. He had Army of the Dead before everything was good. I think it was like 0 might King of the Dead with just dudes.
Yeah, probably.
And I had my 3 mummoks.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was an instant oh, this is straight from the film, and we're playing on Pelennor Fields board. We actually managed to play 2 games, but not for the reasons why you might think. Army of the Dead weirdly didn't do very well.
Really?
Yeah, I tabled him in game 1.
Did you just?
And I beat him in game 2.
Did you just trample him?
Yeah, it was really odd. It just I just called because he had no might.
Yeah.
All he could do was run up to me, and I go, well, heroic move with all 3 of them, and then just go through his whole army in one go.
That's crazy.
Because it was in a kill. It was like Lord's Battle or to the death or something like that.
Yeah.
And this king just didn't roll high enough. I think one of the my other favorite game would be against Jerome Felix. Because that one was on live stream.
Yeah.
Throne of Skulls, because I had my Gondor stuff, just from Osgiliath and Boromir on foot with banner and all that sort of stuff. Against his Morannons with Gothmog. And we were using the studio terrain for all the Gondor terrain.
Oh, I think I've played on that. I was on a live stream with Josh Devoy, and I have a feeling
it was all the same stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff's amazing.
That was really good fun.
That stuff's amazing terrain.
I think those are probably my top two games.
Do you have a favourite tournament?
I don't think I could pick a favourite tournament. Weirdly, any tournament I can get to, I'll enjoy it. I think my favourite is probably the ones at Warhammer World, either if it's the Throne of Skulls or GT. Those are probably my favourites because it feels a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you at a tournament without a massive smile on your face.
It's because it's
genuinely
when
every
I get beaten
tournament.
up so bad, I'll just cry when I'm on the way home. I save it.
And this will be the final question. What's the furthest you've travelled to play?
I'll tell you the furthest, and then I've got like a bonus thing just for a funny story. The furthest is probably Manchester. I've never gone to any of the Scottish tournaments. I've never gone abroad.
Yep.
So I think it's definitely that thing for Ardacon. One of the, I guess, quote unquote furthest in terms of like time would have almost been when I went to the Bicester tournament during all the snow.
Oh God, yes. We tried to get to that one as well.
Because the thing is, I was in Oxford, so it wasn't supposed to be very far away. So I remember getting up at 5 a.m, walking to the train station, which was like an hour walk because it was in the city centre. And then the trains got delayed to like 7 on the 7 o'clock train. Got there, and then everything got cancelled. So we ended up playing at Mark's house with it was only me, Callum Edens, and Mark.
Yeah, so we
were just playing like random board games.
It was Mark Kempster's event. It was the start of December. I want to say 2018. No,
sounds right.
2017, maybe. It was old edition.
I feel like it wasn't. I don't know if it was 17. I think it was almost like just going into 18 or something.
Yeah, and it snowed the night before. Well, in some places it snowed more heavily than others. Because I know for us, what should have been an hour and 20, hour and a half trip took 3 hours. In Luke's little Skoda Fabia or whatever it is. It is one of our funniest stories to recount. And I was hungover because I'd had a hockey night out or Christmas party the night before.
Yeah.
And it took us 3 hours to get there, only to get like 10 minutes away, and there was a jackknife lorry, so we couldn't go any further. We got McDonald's turned around, so I was out for 6-7 hours, and we'd literally got nowhere.
Good time with your friends, though, is good.
Yeah, we had a lovely chat, and McDonald's, and yeah, it was just, like I say, it was chaos, wasn't it? It was absolute chaos.
It was like afterwards, I left Mark's house, and like Eden's walked me to the station because I didn't know where I was going, and when I got there, all of the trains got either cancelled, and all the taxis weren't taking anyone anywhere. And I was like, I was having to contemplate going back to Mark's house and just going, "Can I sleep here for the night?"
How did you get home in the end?
There was a train. It was crammed. It was like 2 carriages, full of people standing. It was at like 9 p.m. or something, or like 9:30. I got home. I got into Oxford again at like 10. And yeah, I slept pretty heavy then because I was sat in the station for so many hours. That felt like the longest tournament.
Oh yeah, it was only a 1-day thing, wasn't it? It wasn't even.
Yeah, it was a 1-day thing.
Oh, absolutely crazy. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Scott. This might have seemed a bit strange as we're quite good friends and we talk relatively often, but I think it's gone quite well.
Yeah, just a chat. It's good.
Yeah.
So having me.
That's